this is it. I got a show. Thank you for helping. This is the final Bosman. It's going to be me here every other week talking about things I care about in the world of video games. Today we're going to take a look at next gen and what it needs to do to wow us again. So let's get started. Welcome to the show. I'm Kyle Bosman, of course. I want to talk about the next generation of video games and the graphics of this next generation. I think that these graphics aren't making a lot of us say wow. When Sony showed off the PlayStation 4 last month, I think that a lot of things looked great, but there's not that leap anymore. There's not that leap from, oh my goodness, look at this game, to, what? Holy cow, you can do that on a next-gen console, I have to have it. That didn't happen last month, but please remember the leaps that we're used to. The jump from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, that wasn't just SD to HD, that was also 4:3 to 16:9. We suddenly had more space in our games, and every game improved from it. That was a huge deal for me. Every single game had a wider field of view. So now, moving into our current next gen, we're looking at a situation where the next gen leap can't possibly be as big. We're moving from HD to HD. But fear not, next gen game developers, I think that we can still say wow to your games. We can still be impressed. All of us still have that capacity in our video game loving hearts. We just need to see something other than pretty graphics. So that's why I've created today's list. These are my top 4 suggestions for next gen to get us to say wow again. Suggestion 1, show us new things. From what we've seen of next gen, it's a lot of things that we've already seen before. Take Killzone Shadowfall, for example. You know, that was shown last month when Sony revealed the PlayStation 4. It looked great, but it didn't set the world on fire the way that the Killzone 2 demo probably did. And the things that were happening in this game, most of them we've already experienced before in other games. I mean, we took this helicopter ride to a futuristic glassy city just in Black Ops 2. What next gen needs to do is take these graphics that we already have and show us new things. I'll give you an example of a trailer that made me say wow. That's the Phantom Pain. This debut trailer shows a protagonist who isn't shooting a gun and acting like a tough guy. In fact, this protagonist is all bandaged up. He only has one hand. This game is freaky, it's scary, and then it gets weirder. Then there's like a Psycho Mantis guy, and a fire demon, and an explosion whale. There is a giant whale made out of explosions who flies out of this mansion hospital and bites onto a helicopter. This is an encouraging thing to see. Creativity and promotions in an industry that seems more and more about maximizing profits. It's fun to see some developers, imaginary or not, having fun. So, next-gen developers, what I say to you is if you can't make our games look dramatically better, make them different. Show us new stuff we've never seen before, and we will say wow. Developers are showing us our oranges that we have now, and they're saying, look, we're gonna give you more realistic oranges. We're gonna, put each little dimple in the orange that you'd see in real life, and then we have control over each individual orange. So you're gonna have a more lifelike orange than you've ever experienced before. That's kind of like, our oranges look good right now. We have good looking oranges. Here's what next gen developers should be saying. They should be saying, forget about that orange. That orange is old news. Look at this pineapple. It hates its parents and it drives a school bus. Suggestion 2, numbers. When I was younger, I was very excited for a game called Super Mario 128. Whoa! Look what this next generation console is capable of. The Nintendo 64 can't possibly have 128 Marios. Obviously that game never came out because it probably wouldn't have been good. But I think that it actually became, or at least influenced the development of Pikmin, which at its time was a wow game. It looked great, but it was the fact that you could command an army of 100 monsters that was like such a, not even just a novelty, but it felt like an innovation. It felt like a reason to hop into this next generation, that you could possibly do that. The Xbox 360 had the same thing with Dead Rising, which has never been a beautiful game. Dead Rising proved that the Xbox 360 could fill a mall full of zombies, and our old consoles couldn't do that. The Wii tried and it couldn't do that. We haven't seen this display of processing prowess where everything we have right now has been multiplied and expanded upon. And so next-gen developers, if you do that, if you just add more numbers, we'll be impressed. Take that orange, and you don't have to make it look better. Just give us more oranges. Give us a bushel full of oranges. And then just fill our house full of oranges. And then the door bursts open, and the oranges create a river that leads down to the city. And then all the oranges stack onto each other and become a monster. I think I just described Knack. Suggestion 3. Let us do more things. Red Faction is a PlayStation 2 game that wowed me when it came out. And the reason why it did that is because explosives in this game put holes in walls. And I realize that sounds so stupid, but it's something that a lot of games today still don't do. In Red Faction, with a rocket launcher, you could create a cave for yourself just shooting into a wall enough times. In a multiplayer match, you and a friend, and by which I mean me and a friend did, we would say, no, guys, let's not shoot each other. Let's build a tunnel across this entire multiplayer map that connects our 2 bases. And for some reason, that was a blast. That was super fun, and I still can't do that in games, except for Minecraft. Minecraft gives you an unprecedented amount of control over your game environment. It doesn't look good. Minecraft, looks awful, but what it does is it lets you create anything you want, and it lets you destroy anything you want. And it's not just Gary's mod. I mean, there's a game inside of Minecraft. There are things that you have to protect yourself from, and things to harvest and merge and craft, obviously. But what Minecraft does best is that it has an environment that reacts to you as much as you are reacting to it. I feel like a lot of the games that we play today, we are reacting to. We're doing what the game allows us, what we're permitted to. And it'd be great to see that change in the next gen. Here's what I say to you, next gen developers, that orange, even if it looks worse, we'll say wow if you let us slice it any way we want, or squish it any way we want, or throw it against the wall and it explodes any way we want. If you let us do more things, we'll say wow. And I don't literally mean about the orange in that instance, because I can't see that being that fun. Suggestion 4, don't let the dead bodies disappear. I realize this one sounds picky, but I think it's actually a big deal. In most of the games we play, we're killing things. In Call of Duty, we're killing things, but also in BioShock Infinite, we're killing things. And also in New Super Mario Bros. U, we're killing things. I was just playing Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time recently, and I got to the point where you unlock the ability to do a stealth takedown. Sly sneaks up by a guy, all you do is press the triangle button, and then he creates like a vortex, and he just like sucks the enemy into like this black hole, and that guy's gone. You realize you just killed the guy. He's like, I'm a thief, but I only steal from other thieves. And yet he has no problem killing thousands of bulls and stork creatures who look just like his best friends. The point is, in each of those games where you are killing things, the bodies of the dead animals or people will eventually like magically disappear. And I can't believe that is still happening in video games. That is a weird conceit that we allow for every future video game that comes in. I'd love for next gen not to do that, and I'm sure developers would shout at me and say, Kyle, you idiot, if we make the dead bodies not disappear, we can't make new bodies, so like there's a rendering issue here, you dumb idiot, why do you even have this show to talk about stuff? You don't know anything, which is true, but I find that thought very frustrating. In the world of a game, that the next guy who comes into the room to shoot you, he did not exist until you killed the guy before him. You're essentially just killing dudes to make space for the next dudes to come in to try to kill you. And so it would wow me in a next-gen game if the enemies had lives without me. If they had routines, if they had a space for themselves, if they had a house that they go home to, or they had a phone call that they had to make. And then when I get that headshot for a bonus 15 experience points, keep his dead body there. If I had to force the orange analogy back onto this one, it would be that our oranges in video games right now aren't sticky when you open them, which is a reality of oranges. So add the sticky juice into the video games for oranges. I'm not really comfortable with that one. Anyway, that is the show. That's the first episode of Final Bosman. That's a wrap. If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, that makes sense. Also let me know, because we're just getting started. This could become anything. We'll be here in 2 weeks. I hope to see you then. We'll be here the same time slot, same day, same great website, hopefully bigger desk. Have a great March. See you later. I'm sick of fighting countless enemies that are named after aggressive verbs. Game developers are like, here's our Thrasher. He's really interesting because he has an in-your-face combat style. Here's our Blitzer. He's really interesting because he has a medium-range combat style. Here's our Digger. He's really interesting because he digs underground and then pulls you underground with him. Here's our Guzzler. He's really interesting because he never stops drinking soda. Here's our Tickler. He's really interesting because he tickles you. This is our Reader. He's really interesting because he stays in the library but still has lots of guns. This is our Cobbler. He's really interesting because he has wooden shoes. Here's our Knifer. He's really interesting because he has 3 knives. This is our Swamp Monsterer. He's really interesting because he loves swamp monsters. Here's our Dasher. He's really interesting because he's a flying reindeer. This is our Fisher. He's really interesting because he has a fishing hook that you want to check it out. And when you come up to it, you're like, what is this thing, a prize? And then you get hooked by the Fisher's hook. Nah, never mind. I'm good.